Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. You can follow Movies TV Mad 4. You can follow me on TikTok now. Where lots of fun. Movies TV Mad quadruple X. That's Movies TV Mad XXXX. Check me out on there. So Robert Pattinson says that Henry Cavill is still Superman. But we need to put the meat on the bones of this because the internet can misconstrue what's said. So in an interview with Robert Pattinson and Zoe, who of course plays Catwoman, he was asked who he would cast as Superman for his Reeves Batman verse. I think that Robert kind of misunderstood the terms of the question, laughed and said, "Isn't Henry Cavill still Superman?" So clearly he didn't get the fact that he was asked about his universe, or it could be a situation where, you know, he's trying to distract from that. So he laughingly said, well, isn't Henry Cavill still Superman? So listen, actors are the last to know. They're never, they don't know anything. I believe that Henry Cavill is still Superman. I think there's a great chance of him being in Black Adam. Definitely in The Flash, and it may be even slight chance of him in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And but the one that I really do expect him to see him in, and always have expected to see him in, has been Shazam! Fury of the Gods. If he is in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, it means that his Superman has not been deleted, which would be very, very, very good news. It would be something that would make me very, very happy. So I'm live right now for the DCEU Daily. I'm not expecting many, if any people to come in and comment, but I thought I'd go live, saves me the upload later on, so I can do some more videos later on. The next thing I want to get into, really, is that Henry Cavill has been treated badly. There's no question about that. What happened with Cavill was ridiculous. And what I would say to Warner Brothers is that you cannot replace Henry Cavill with the new Supergirl. You can't. Sasha Calle, you can't do that. It's not going to work. Even the people who hate Snyder's stuff love Henry Cavill as Superman. We all want to see him again. So what I would say to Warner Brothers is, if you haven't done anything with him yet, you need to go back before Black Adam's released, before The Flash is released, and put him in. And if you can't, you're in a lot of trouble. This is a year where you need your films to be embraced by the mainstream audience. And if there's no Cavill, you are going to have a lot of negative, divisive discourse on the internet. Now, you and I both know that's not what you want. Henry Cavill must remain a Superman, and I believe he will. Right, next up. I want to talk about the Batman again because obviously everyone's talking about the Batman and we're all in love with the Batman. But there is this situation in the film when Batman goes to that crime scene and is it the senator who's been murdered or whatever, right? His son's there and Bruce looks at him as Batman and it reminds him of what happened to him as a young boy. And a lot of people are theorizing that this could be Robin in the sequel. Now, for him to be Robin in the sequel, they would really need to time jump a lot. So this would be interesting. I mean, I think, what would you say the boy is? About 10 years old? You need to time jump about 10 years. Now, I think this is doable because a 10-year jump doesn't make Robert Pattinson look like an old man or anything, right? So I think a 10-year time jump is more than accessible, which could make him Robin. But at the beginning of the movie, when he beats up the thugs, there's another guy. There's a character of color who's with the other hoodlums, but he's not really getting involved. He doesn't really seem to be there, and he seems to be there under duress. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would say he's the next Robin. The next thing I want to talk about is this discourse about the third act of the Batman being a disappointment. Now, I believe the disappointment comes from no end boss battle. So basically, when Wonder Woman 2017 came out, the first Wonder Woman, They said they didn't like the third act because it was a CGI big boss battle. Now they're unhappy with the third act because there's no big boss battle. This proves you cannot please these people, and you shouldn't be making films to please these critics. You know, they said Superman Returns didn't have enough action. Man of Steel had too much destruction. Lois Lane in Superman Returns was too young. Lois Lane, Amy Adams in Man of Steel was too old. You cannot please these deadbeats, and there is no point in attempting to. So let's give you some updates. Let's read some articles. The Batman 2 trends as DC fans hope for sequel by Adam Bernhardt of Comic Book. The Batman is dominating the box office, and fans seem to love the Matt Reeves feature. Enough so, most are assuming it will be no time at all before Warner Brothers officially pushes a sequel into development. Most are expecting it so much. The Batman 2 began trending Saturday night as fans of the film explained what villains they'd like to see appear opposite Robert Pattinson's Caped Crusader. Poor Matt, I do feel sorry for him because there's a long list of picks that people want. And the only way to really please people is if you have multiple villains in each piece of media, which I think he's had with the first Batman, and I think he'll do it with the second Batman. While there are already a pair of shows set in the same world in development at HBO Max, Reeves himself said there are plenty of more stories to be told should sequels be greenlit. I think the first thing is a very long nap, Reeves told the Los Angeles Times. Definitely, mate. When asked about the future, here's the thing. My feeling in doing the film was always that I would never treat it as chapter one, because chapter one assumes that there are more chapters. So what I wanted to do was to make this movie a satisfying experience so people could experience a new, fresh version of a character that the world has loved for over 80 years. I think if we succeed on that front, I know that I have a lot of stories I want to tell, and then we'll do chapter two, but not because we didn't make this one a complete experience. Let's just see what happens. Let's see the audience watch it. I hope they connect to it. And if they do, then yeah, there's definitely more to do. And I will not be napping for too long. So yeah, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it, from Matt Reeves? In other words, look, I mean, I want to draw you a picture over here in Cyprus when we are promoting the latest play, because I write and direct and star in my own plays. We do a lot of promotion with local media. And it's absolutely tiring for me and everybody else at the theatre. So I want you to imagine being Zoe Kravitz, Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves especially, who's been doing lots of talking for months now. This press run is so tiring. The same questions, the same answers. It's about the Zodiac Killer, blah, blah, blah. Even I'm tired of the same answers. And imagine if you're them. So yeah, absolutely, Matt definitely needs a rest, and there'll definitely be sequels and spin-offs, and in time those things will be announced. The Batman's box office is looking very, very healthy. 57 million if you include previews, and it's Friday. Saturday is always bigger than the Friday, but by Monday you're looking around 130 million for its opening weekend. This is huge. It could have been huger, could have been lesser. At first, they were talking about 200 million. I kind of had my suspicions that would never happen. Hardip Singh, hello, good morning, Hardip. Welcome to the DCEU Daily Live. We have discussed Robert Pattinson saying that Henry Cavill is still Superman. I still believe that. If you've missed anything, please check. Just go and replay the video later on. Stick with me if you can. If you're not too tired, if you're going to bed, then sweet dreams. So that's where we are. So the box office is great. We discussed this last night. It's simple. A big opening is vital. But if it has a huge drop-off like BVS did in its second week, then we're not going to get anywhere even to 800 million, let alone a billion. I'm confident that it will do very well. I don't know if it will reach a billion, but I think it will creep up to 800 million for sure. We'll have to wait and see. Hardeep, where he said that, in an interview. It wasn't an interview. I saw it on Twitter. I'm sure if you're on Twitter, you'll see it creep up somewhere. Now, I'll explain to you. I've said it already, but as you've just come in, it was an interview. Someone asked him who he would cast for his Superman in his universe. He laughed. So to distract, he said, isn't Henry Cavill still Superman? and that's how it came across. So let's carry on. The Batman earns higher cinema score than Batfleck's DCEU movies. From Screen Rant and Richard Think, I think it's a terrible headline, and it doesn't really matter because BVS is a fantastic movie. You know, trying to adapt slightly The Dark Knight Returns. It's beautiful, and so is The Batman. Trying to pit them against each other isn't very smart, but this is how these people get people into their articles. Hardeep Singh reviews are great for Batman. Yeah, they're mostly great, and that's very good news, Hardeep. The Batman cinema score is higher than both of Ben Affleck's 2 DCEU appearances, and it ranks above the last 3 theatrically released DCEU films. So we're going on a tangent here to try and say, oh, look, Matt Reeves is better than the DCEU. Listen, there's no question. Wonder Woman 84, The Suicide Squad, and Birds of Prey didn't do well in movie theaters, and there's no escaping that. But there's a new future for the DCEU, and we must judge the DCEU on this year. Audiences have given The Batman a top grade on cinema score, and it's higher than both DCEU movie appearances of Batman, originally conceived in an entry in the DCEU. The Batman was supposed to star Ben Affleck as the Caped Crusader, and would have featured him going up against the villainous Deathstroke. The film fell apart due to a number of behind-the-scenes issues, and Matt Reeves stepped into the director's chair, crafting an entirely new vision for Batman in its own universe, with Robert Pattinson stepping into the role of hero. After the poor audiences and critical reaction to the depiction of Batman in the DCEU, yet, listen, lots of people didn't like BVS, but let me be clear here. Like Henry Cavill, even if you don't like the Snyderverse, you like Cavill. If you don't like the Snyderverse, you like Ben Affleck's Batman. He's a great Batman. Hardeep Singh, do you think it will make $1 billion? It's in a very healthy position right now, Hardeep, to make $1 billion, but there are no guarantees. It's all about next week's second weekend. Hardeep Singh, let's not forget, movie is going to be on HBO Max April the 19th, so they have more than a month for theatre release. Yeah, it's all worked out properly. But listen, I'm not going to be irresponsible and say, yeah, it's going to make $1 billion. It's in a good position to make $1 billion, but let's wait and see to next week. The DCEU, a lot was riding on the Batman. The release of the film is a big deal for Warner Brothers, and it is both their full return to theatrical exclusivity after their controversial decision to release their 2021 slate in theaters and HBO Max on the same day, as well as relaunch their Batman franchise, which hasn't had a solo film since 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. So far, it seems to be going well as the movie topped the opening weekend box office of Batman Begins in one day, earning $57 million on Friday. The Batman is also projected for $120 million opening weekend, making it the best opening of 2022. Obviously, again, that's not a great stat because we're in March, and the best opening weekend since theaters shut down due to COVID-19 in 2020, behind Spider-Man No Way Home. Despite the darker tone and 3-hour runtime, it appears audiences are warmly reacting to this incarnation of Batman. According to CinemaScore, the film received an A- from audiences. That is higher than both 2016's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and 2017's Justice League. Again, these are not great stats. It's not like you're getting a better CinemaScore from films that were loved by everyone, right? Which received a B and a B+ CinemaScore, respectively. When compared to other Batman films, the Batman shares the same CinemaScore as the Lego Batman and Batman Forever. It also scored higher than Joker, which received a B+. I mean, it's insane for me that a movie like The Joker got a B+, but it's nuts. But it doesn't matter. The Joker's a great movie and will be remembered as a great movie, and The Batman is a great movie. Batman Returns, which got a B, and Batman and Robin with a C+. All 3 Christopher Nolan Batman films and 1989 Batman all earned higher with an A cinema score. When compared to the DCEU films, it received a higher rating than the last 3 released in theaters, as The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 84, and Birds of Prey all received B+ cinema scores. Hardeep Singh, the Batman make preview sales more than The Dark Knight Rises, And The Dark Knight, even Joker, only behind BVS right now. That is true, but they're all brilliant movies. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not one for these scores at the end of the day. You know, we live in a crazy time. Rotten Tomatoes, scores, B plus, A plus, it means nothing to me. But I know to you guys out there and the new generation, it means a hell of a lot. And that's why we're discussing it and we're talking about it. Audiences who still want to see Affleck reprise his role as Batman will get the chance in 2022 with The Flash, which will be the character's final appearance. This is journalism, not according to Ezra Miller. While there is an audience who still wants to see him continue in the role, the actor has moved on and wishes to pursue other projects, and it appears that Warner Brothers has now found a new successful take on the character that is connecting with audiences. Positive audience reaction, strong reviews, and a big opening weekend is all great news for Warner Brothers, who likely will announce a sequel to The Batman in development soon. Yes, those conversations will happen very, very shortly. So it's important to understand that the Batman is in a great condition. They are your updates for today, so we can have a little conversation. But yeah, it's important to understand that other Batman films are not in competition with the Batman. The Batman just needs to make money and do well and be loved. And it is all of those things. Hard dig. Well, Uncharted made 100 million opening box office. There is no way the Batman make less than that. No, the Batman's going to make at least 120 million. Hard deep, it's that is what's going to happen. It could make more than 120 million, so it's happening. Again, I really enjoyed Uncharted, so it made a lot of money, but it's all about the second weekend. As I say, the opening is great, but if people lack interest in a second weekend, then that will be a problem. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying that we need not to be complacent. And if you're in the point of view or frame of mind to do so, keep on watching it. Keep on, sharing the Batman on your social media. It's very important. It hasn't finished its run. It's only just started its run. So opening weekends are quite simple, actually. If you're a film like The Batman or Spider-Man No Way Home, word of mouth, all of that, it's going to be huge in the opening weekend, which is great. It had to at least be huge, or it would have been, well, that would have been it. There'll be no $1 billion. But now it's about, will people go back to watch it in the second weekend? Hardik Singh, what about worldwide box office? We should find something out about the worldwide either later on today, or I would guess on Mondays when they talk about the all-round. Unfortunately, the American press don't really talk about the box office, and people get confused from other countries. I mean, I've had arguments with journalists, and they say America's more important because it's such a big country. I say bullshit, because it's not just about what you sell in one shop, it's about what you make all together in all your shops at the end of the day. Dr. Zayazaka, it'll cross $1 billion. Yes, fingers crossed. I'm one of those people who doesn't jump in there just in case it goes wrong. It should make $1 billion. Listen, Batman and Superman movies should at least gross $1 billion. They're that huge. And if you make them properly, and you suck in the audience and people get excited, there should be no problem. So if someone out there makes a great Superman movie, it will cross $1 billion. If you look at Superman the movie, yeah, it made 400 million for its time. But if you look at how money's changed and interest rates, Superman the movie actually made $1 billion. In fact, by now it would have made more than $1 billion. So that's the only Superman movie that's really gained real success, and there's a reason for that. I mean, I love Man of Steel, and I've got a soft place in my heart for Superman Returns. Dr. Zayazaka, this is a masterpiece of a movie with multiple repeat value, which is why I'm so confident. I think people will go back who really want to get it, who genuinely want to go back. Obviously, the stands are not a problem. We'll go back again and again and again, but it's about the rest of the audience. The people I talk to, and I talk to a lot of fans from the mainstream, are very happy with it. I spoke to one person on TikTok yesterday, very happy. He's not a Batman fan, and he said he loved the movie. That's amazing. That's what we want to hear, because the stands love the film. So if the stands love the film and people who don't even like Batman like the film, we are really onto a winner. Of course, we could talk about Dreamworld here, that it could go well over $1 billion, but that's fantasy land. Let's at least get it to $1 billion. That's what we want. But you're right, Dr. Zaizaka. It is a masterpiece. Hardeep Singh, kudos to Matt Reeves. It is the first movie that this movie is called Best Batman Movie. Imagine what is he going to do in the sequel? Yeah, the sequel is his Dark Knight. It's the movie that's the middle movie. If it's only a trilogy, the middle movie is the one. Is The Empire Strikes Back, The Dark Knight. I mean, this is what Bryan Singer was talking about his Superman Returns sequel. He wanted to make a Wrath of Khan movie. And, you know, we got a Wrath of Khan movie for the second Star Trek movie. So most of the, you know, talented people out there do like to do something big with their second movie. And who knows what he's planning, but it's going to be huge. There's no guarantees in who's going to be involved. I mean, it's interesting. Catwoman's gone now, so that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I would assume that Zoe Kravitz would be back, of course. So Matt could really surprise us with his sequel. But he's done a great job. Listen, I had no doubts about this film even before I saw it. The man started talking at DC Fandom 2020, and I thought it was sensational, what he had to say. And this guy had a defined vision on what he wanted to do. He wanted to go back to the Long Halloween. He wanted to go back to Detective Comics, and he's done it. He's made such an intriguing movie. I was speaking to my brother for an hour on the phone. He loved it. So I haven't spoken to anyone personally in my life who doesn't like this film. Hardeep Singh, not forget, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That is also to a second movie. Yeah. And he didn't do the first movie, don't forget. So he just jumped in there. And I mean, it's a very people don't talk about the first one that he didn't do. But the first one he didn't do is actually a really good beginning. Without that beginning, Matt wouldn't have been able to come in and do a great second and a great third movie. I prefer the second movie, though. But yeah, Matt Reeves is look, there's no surprises here for me. I knew this film was going to be good. I was very confident about this film. I've always been excited about the catalogue of films DC live action have got this year, and I don't think they'll miss with any one of them. I believe Black Adam will please people. I believe Flash will please people. I believe Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will please people. And next year, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I think that will be a lighter movie for the family, for kids. You can take your kids. That's the variety we're heading for. And it's great. This is what we want. We don't want just to please one set of fans. We want all DC fans and the general audience to enjoy these movies. The general audience and the fans are enjoying the Batman. They will enjoy Black Adam. They will enjoy the Flash. They will enjoy Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, etc., etc. And Batgirl is a very exciting film. Don't lose your focus. Batgirl is going to be huge. So, yeah, as a DC fan, a big DC fan, I'm excited that they're turning things around because it's been difficult since the inception of the DCEU. And you're talking to a fan of Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. I fought for the Snyder Cut on this channel. That's why I started this channel. So, it's great. It's just great that we're in a situation now where we can speak happily about a film. Hardeep Singh, the Batman is the kind of movie, people who didn't like this movie leaves so much effect on the mind. People, wherever they are hater, they are still talking about the movie. Yeah, the difference is, Dr. Zack Reeves has said that even for the Joker, he'll go back to the origins in The Man Who Laughs, as well as the medical condition, which leaves a person with a laugh since birth. That's nuts. So then you look at how he suffered in his life as well. So it's going to be very interesting, but he's not promising that we're even going to see the Joker in the second movie. I don't believe you, Matt, by the way. Hi, if you're watching, and I know you're not watching, you're probably asleep or something. You won't be watching my channel anyway. But yeah, I think you're bringing the Joker back, aren't you, Matt? You can tell me, DM me. It's all right. Won't tell anyone. Apart from the whole of Twitter and YouTube, apart from that, you can trust me. So yeah, I saw his Joker take when he was speaking to IGN. And I must admit, because I wasn't feeling that great after I saw that portion of the movie. Although I like the dialogue, I just don't like the laugh that much. And that kind of made me feel a lot better about what he's planning for the Joker. So very exciting stuff. And I can't wait to see this deleted scene. He's talking about he's interested in bringing Batman Hush into his universe as well. Hush is such a compelling, dark thing to do. And, you know, if anyone knows this, it's him. If he did a Batman Hush movie. Because, see, Matt can do so many things now. I mean, he has the platform to do these things, and it's extraordinary. And it's very important that people embrace what you're attempting to do. And mostly people will. There'll always be these dissenting voices because, and I'll tell you, if this was in the DCEU, there would have been more hate for it. But the haters are being drowned out, which is a beautiful thing. Hardly Singh, I think the Gotham PD spin-off show deal with Joker, and at the end, he's going to end up in Arkham because the show is going to be a prequel to the Batman. Yeah, he could show up in there, but he could also get his own villain series, giving him his own prequel. But they could deal with him in Gotham PD for sure, considering Matt has said they're going to deal with Arkham a lot in that series as well. So as I say, it's very exciting for us fans. We win. We win with this. When you've got a fan making something for fans, you can't lose. When you're dealing with a nut job that doesn't know anything about the source material, who doesn't care about what he, she, or however they identify as is doing, then you've got a problem. I mean, sometimes you get someone like Lana Wazowski, who did The Matrix 4, who obviously co-created the thing and does that. So this is where we are now. They're all incredibly political. They're all incredibly nuts, and it's hurting the industry at large. And so it's great that we've got Matt Reeves. We're very, very lucky to have him, where, you know, because people genuinely like this man. I think that's important. One of the problems with Zack Snyder was some people just don't like him, and that's bad. Hardip Singh, I saw Robert Pattinson show up to some of the screenings. He is so happy in his world, and I quote, make a sequel. Yes, he's smiling, he's excited, happy. This is a dream come true for him. He's a huge Batman stan, just like all of us. So it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's just for me, when things turn out like this, it's a celebration for DC, WB, it's fans, us, you know. So I just think it's a huge celebration. That's why I ignore any negativity, because I don't see the point in reacting to them. I'll react to a few critics because they think they're clever. But at the end of the day, they are dissenting voices. They are muffled out, and it doesn't really matter. You don't have to like this movie, but it isn't going to affect something. So if you're just saying you don't like this movie to think you're going to create mass failure, it's too late. This film is a success. It will continue to be a success. And this is just the beginning of a successful year for DC live action. And I think Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were doing the whole turning up in movie theatres. It's a great idea. And Warner Brothers have said, you know, it worked with that. Let's do it with this. Yeah, because imagine sitting in a movie theatre and Rob and Zoe and Matt turning up, you know, and Paul turning up, you know, amazing. Colin Farrell, you know, any of these people are great. And, you know, it's just great that they appreciate the fans and the studio saying, you know, go down there, you know, it'd be nice. And there's nothing wrong with doing it because people are not going to be nasty to you. They're going to say, wow, look, we love you. So, and who doesn't like being loved and appreciated? Everyone needs that, especially when it's genuine. So as I say, it's just a celebration for me. I'm so excited. Things are going well suddenly. It's great. This was the year I said things had to go well for DC live action. I said that. Peacemaker, it's gone well. The Batman, it's gone well. I don't know what happened to all the boycotts, like that was ever going to be boycotted by more than like 20 people. But it's now the DCEU's turn. And it's going to be very, very interesting how many people come out for Black Adam. Because that's the next one. And that's a huge movie. I'm very excited about Black Adam. I think it's going to be brilliant. Hardip Singh, the problem about Zack Snyder, I don't hate his work. I think he's an amazing director, I agree. But I didn't like his storytelling. I didn't feel for his Batman and Superman. He made them like God figure rather than human. Well, obviously Batman is a human, and I suppose you're looking for some intrinsic humane qualities in Superman. Listen, I think what he did was amazing. I like his Superman. I like his Batman. And I don't think there's an issue. But unfortunately, it wasn't for everyone. But the man should have been allowed to finish his story so he can move on. And we would have been in a much more healthier place. The big issue is, if Zack had his own Earth like Matt does, this wouldn't have been an issue in the first place, because the DCEU could have had a more mainstream Batman, a more mainstream Superman, and everybody could have been happy. They didn't think about this clearly, but there's a new leadership now. There's a new CEO coming, a new company is merging with Warner Brothers. This is all good for the future of DC, definitely, and I'm very excited. Because the money that's coming in shows that there is an energy and, you know, a hunger for more Batman, because there's always been a hunger and, you know, that passion for Batman. So that hasn't changed. And this film has changed everything for Batman, because it's gone at it in such a different way. But it's gone at it as, you could say, let's not call this the Batman. Let's call this the real Batman. There's some people saying that this is, you know, this Batman's like he's just dressing up in cosplay. And I said the other day, no. It's the other live-action Batman who were dressed up in cosplay, and it's this Batman who is the real, true Batman. And if you don't understand that, you don't know Batman. And you're not paying attention. This is the Batman the fans and the stands want to see. And the general audience also saying, wow, because those scores are amazing. That A- score is great. So the why A minus and not, you know, A? It's because it wouldn't have been for everyone. Mannery Mo, hopefully we get Mr. Freeze in the Batman too. Yeah, I'm sure Matt will add that to the list of many picks that people want. Hardeep Singh, yeah, I agree. I think after the Flash movie, Snyderverse is going to be in HBO Max, in different Earth, not Prime Earth. That is going to be different in which Batgirl movie exits. Well, here's the thing. Because I want to see Justice League 2 and 3, and I want to see Batflex movie as well. I don't know if that's going to happen. And, you know, Batgirl in the DCEU is going to have her Bat family, Michael Keaton's Batman, a new Robin. It's all very exciting. So we're going to get the best of both worlds. So Snyder gets his own pocket universe. Again, me and his fans can go off and watch that. I personally think Zack Snyder's movies should be appreciated in movie theaters, but that's up to the studio. I'm not going to be greedy here. But yeah, look, it's just very exciting. There's nothing to be upset about. There's no reason to be negative. If you didn't like the Batman, you didn't like it. You can go back and watch BVS, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Batman 89, Batman Returns, Batman 66, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Batman the Animated Series. There's enough Batman media out there. If you didn't like this one, totally fine. Manry Mo, both the Snyderverse and the Batman universe can exist at the same time because of the multiverse. Exactly, Manny Hiril. That's the whole point, isn't it? And this is what they need to do. If you're going to create a multiverse, be fair to everyone. Yeah, you can have it all. And the Snyderverse makes money. It's made money. The Snyder Cut had huge views, the fourth most viewed streaming movie of 2021. Zaslav and Discovery are going to see that and say, give me some of that. If they haven't privately already said that to Snyder already. So, yeah, I think it's great. I think DC's it's got a great, exciting future with this multiverse. And I don't need to compare it to the MCU. It doesn't bother me. I'm not interested in the MCU. Manuel Mail, the new Batman universe should be a bigger universe instead of another trilogy, and we can have more time to build up the Bat family. I think it will go beyond the trilogy. That's my personal gut feeling. I think the trilogy will be the first story. Hardeep Singh, I see so many Snyder fans. I had a Batman and I want more. I think a lot of Snyder fans love the Batman. I think like the ones we call the cult are just saying negative stuff purposely, but it's irrelevant. Because when you've got people shouting, I love it, the couple of people saying, I hate it, become irrelevant. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Not that their opinions are not valid, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was hard. The reaction to BVS was hard for people like me, because there was a lot of hate. It was weird. The hate was weird for it, by the way, because it's actually a really beautiful artistic movie with something amazing to say. So I never saw why people hate. I understand why some fans maybe didn't appreciate what the man did in the film, deconstructing Batman. Deconstructing Superman was a bigger issue for people, but he reconstructed them by the end of the movie, and he would have reconstructed them properly at the end of his arc. So it is what it is, people. I mean, the film still made a lot of money, Batman versus Superman. And a lot of people loved that film. There should be no misunderstanding about that. Manuel Mayo, as a Snyder fan, I really love Batman and I enjoyed anything DC because I'm a bigger DC fan. Yeah, you know what? I love Snyder's stuff and I love DC, and you know it's great. There's no one or the other thing here, and you don't have to love everything because you're a DC fan. You love what you love. You don't, you know. I don't think Wonder Woman 84 is great. I don't think Birds of Prey is great, but I respect those films and the people who love them. But at the end of the day, they're not really for me. But there are films that I can take or leave, and that's okay too. But hopefully with this year, all the films that we're seeing are going to be awesome and we're going to really like them. So, yeah, it's brilliant. Look, I'm very, very happy. Hardip Singh, no hate to Marvel, but DC made movie which is amazingly beautiful, risky, and something that is talked about for ages, rather than, oh, who is going to be do cameo? Yeah, that's what the next film, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, is all about cameos. We already know Professor X, Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart's going to be in that, and I love Pat. But at the end of the day, you know, a film, you know, that universe, that's why people watch those films. It's it's an interconnected universe, and that's okay. And the DCEU main, franchising universe can also do that and excite people. They're doing it with The Flash. They're doing it with Batgirl, and that's very exciting. But we can also have the Reeveverse that does something incredibly intrinsic, compelling, and I love it. Radine01. Hello, mate. Hello, mate. How are you doing? A very good morning to you from Cyprus. Manry Mail, I think hardcore fans are hard to please because they will hate on anything that is not comic accurate. While casuals are happy with a great movie, whether they are faithful to the comics or not. You do make a good point there. I was discussing someone who is very supportive to the channel about why does Batman never have the white eyes? And I tried to explain, with the white eyes, you lose a place where you can see the actor performing emotionally. And I think that's the problem. People don't seem to understand something. A comic book is very different to live action, and you can't translate everything to live action. It's very difficult. Radino, one, ha ha ha. It's night over in Australia. Good day, mate. Good night, mate. How's it going? I do love Australia. You have some amazing women. Australian women are very passionate women. I enjoyed my time in Australia. Melbourne, Sydney. So as a fan, I'm just incredibly content, happy. It's a different world we're in now. You know, what we were during fighting for the Snyder Cut is not what we are now. It's different. It's different. It's changed. Manuel Mail, not everything needs to be exactly comic accurate. I agree. And sometimes it's not possible for everything to be comic accurate. What the Batman film does, it takes from the source material, and the tone is very faithful to the source material. But he hasn't copied and pasted it because you can't do that. Just make the characters connect with the audience and they will be beloved. Exactly. That's all you can do, is try and translate them as well as possible. And he's done that. He's made the stands and the fans happy, and he's made the general audience happy, which is great. Radney01, I watched the Batman a second time today. I've got to say the Batman doesn't feel like Batman, but in a good way that I love. Well, this is an interesting thing. Do you mean from the point of view that he doesn't feel like the Batman you've seen in live action? Because the Batman from the early comics and, you know, the Long Halloween, that is Batman. So maybe you feel this doesn't feel like Batman, but actually in terms of the source material, it is. It's like he's still evolving. Yeah, it's a bit like, in a way, Clark Kent in Smallville, wasn't it? As he evolved every season. It's a slow story. And I think that's a great thing. And maybe some people just don't get that and can't appreciate that. It really is a movie that I'm going to have to watch lots of times on home media. You can't, in the end of the day, the best place to enjoy it. I mean, I love going to the movie theatre, but there's nothing more beautiful than sticking your hard, you know, your physical media in the machine, putting the volume up, shutting the lights with no one else there, stuffing your face with popcorn and taking in an essence of a movie. I love the movie theatre experience, though. Raiding 01, and I love that, like, the wingsuit scene really shows that. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I like him, the way he was flying with the parachute. It's all, listen, it's all Batman. To me, it's all Batman. You know, I even enjoy Batman and Robin. I find Batman and Robin hugely entertaining. You can't take it seriously, but you can't take 66 seriously. But it's still a fun movie. Batman Forever is a very fun movie, but actually Schumacher in that film goes a bit darker. Batman Returns, a great movie. Batman 89, a great movie. The Nolan trilogy, great. Gotham, one of the best TV series ever made. There's so many great versions of Batman. We're very lucky. There's no need to put one against the other. And this constant conversation of saying, what's the best? What's the best? Oh, all of a sudden, the next film is the best film. I just love them all. I just think they're great. There's always something there. And I think Rob Pattinson said this himself about the other movies, that people shitted on them, but actually kind of enjoyed all of them. And I think that's great of him to say that. It's a shame that Joel Schumacher didn't live to hear the love people had for his Batman movies. Radine 01, it really is Batman, but very early. The only problem I have with this Batman is that Bruce and Batman are basically the same as in personality. Bruce is such an introvert. Yeah, basically the whole idea of this story is that they are the same. That he hasn't got that dual personality yet. He hasn't got it down. And because Batman is in a disguise, there's no suspicion of who he is. Right? If he was Superman and he was acting this way, the same, it wouldn't work. People would find him out. But with this is going to be a journey of him working out the duality and how he is Batman and how he has got a life as Bruce Wayne. So that's all purposely done by Matt Reeves. Radine 01, but still loved it nonetheless. And I think it's interesting when we talk about film, we say, oh, well, yeah, I didn't like that. It's what it is. This is a film where the filmmaker wants you to enjoy it and like everything, but also this is his vision, that he wants to do what he wants to do. It's a very difficult thing. Hardip Singh, his sequel, he's definitely going to have a playboy persona. It's interesting, isn't it? Because in Batman Begins, Bale isn't really a natural playboy. It's only when Michael Caine tells him he needs to get out there and pretend he's a playboy, he starts to pretend to be a playboy. And then when I forgot her name, but when the woman he loves finds him with the two girls, right, in the restaurant, he goes, this isn't me. There is more. And I love that moment. It always makes me tear up. He's not really a playboy in the Nolan franchise. He's pretending to be a playboy. And there is a distinct difference there. And I like that. I just don't think today a playboy goes down very well in terms of Hollywood with its identity politics and how they feel politically and with gender politics. I would be very surprised if Matt Reeves gave us a real true blue playboy Bruce Wayne. So no, I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't care. I don't need that to happen. You know, a billionaire playboy would have been very fashionable in the 80s, 70s and 60s because that's how we saw ourselves as men. But now that's not acceptable. Red 01, I don't think that would work as him being broody and dark Bruce. But then the next movie, he's a playboy. That just doesn't work. I think you will find that within the third film. Well, he can pretend to be a playboy at any time. But he won't be a playboy. And I don't think it's an important element of it anyway. Christopher Back, I don't know if you have discussed this, but do you think that the serum he injects into himself is venom? Oh, yes. Doesn't matter if we discussed it. You've just come onto the chat. And yeah, definitely venom. And I think Bruce will use it to fight Bane maybe in the next movie. And I think it's going to fuck Bruce up, but he's going to keep on using it to have the strength to fight him. Radin01, no, it's adrenaline. Well, it could be adrenaline, but it could be the serum. Who knows? Who knows? That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing, isn't it? We can always discuss it. It's not about being wrong or right. It's just, people having theories, and it's fun. You should have been around when Lost was first on the television. We had a good time then. Not that this channel was around then, but me and my former friends had a good time theorizing about Lost. Hardeep Singh, in Batman Zero Year and Earth 1 Part 1 comic, he didn't have Playboy persona, but in after the later issues, he developed the persona and also upgraded his gadgets and suit. Yeah, this vision of Matt Reeves is going to evolve. The Batmobile in the next movie will look more like the Batmobile. His costume will look more like the OG costume. Not that I don't like this costume, but this is just the car, the costume. This is the strings and chewing gum element of it. He's making it up as he goes along, but he will evolve the way he looks, the stuff he uses, and it's going to be amazing. Yeah, and this is what I like. It's a story. It has a beginning, right? So not that there's anything wrong with this. The difference is in the Nolan trilogy is he's got the tumbler in the first film. He keeps the tumbler in he gets new gadgets and stuff, but his suit always looks the same. There's no evolution, really. Bruce Wayne, the evolution Bruce Wayne gets in the first movie is pretty much the evolution we go with. I know he becomes the Dark Knight and he sacrifices himself, so Harvey Dent's got a good reputation. But ultimately, there's not much evolution in Bruce Wayne apart from Batman Begins. That's why it's my favourite movie. And what Matt's going to do here is do a proper evolution throughout the movies. He's evolved from Vengeance to Batman in one movie already. Hardeep Singh, I felt like this movie is made by Rocksteady because it felt like live action Arkham game version. Love that. Yeah. And this is something else that Matt as a stand would have been going for. I'm sure he plays the games as well. what is it? Let's just see this name. Radiant01. What really stood out in this film is that the cinematography is its own thing in this movie and wouldn't work in other films, and I really love that. Yeah, I think the cinematography is very good at doing what the director wants in terms of a look, and I think he certainly did a good job here. Cinematography is very important. It's not great in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if I'm honest. It's just, look, it just looks like a world. You know, and this is really brilliant. WB have some great cinematography in their movies. June, the Snyder stuff. You know, Warner Brothers make art and Disney make money. DC make art and Marvel make money. And that's how it is. That's how I see it. Is that a bad thing, a good thing? No. You can have the best of both worlds. It's whatever you want. You can embrace, love what you love. It's okay. I'm just telling you how I see things. Because there's always a lot of boasting and goading from MCU fans. And at the end of the day, they can goad and they can say, well, this film didn't make money in your universe, but I don't care. I've got all the Blu-rays. I watch them all the time. I love the DCEU. There are DCEU fans out there. Radin01, and what also stands out is that he still acts really human, unlike the Burton films or Nolan films. And I feel like this was more realistic than Bale's. Yeah, it depends what you mean by realistic in Radin01, in my opinion. Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, of course. I don't have a preference, personally. I do really like Batman Begins. I just think that is such a good movie because it's really a Bruce Wayne movie, and that gives Christian Bale the opportunity to, you know, hone his talents into this character, and we never saw anything like that again. I like what they did with the Batman, but I like the other versions as well, and I certainly wouldn't say, oh, they should have done that in that film or that. These are different visions from different times in humanity, and of course you go with what's going on in culture as well, and you're influenced by that, of course. Radin01, the way he moves and acts, the way he walks very slowly and creepily, yeah, he's like a hunter. Basically, this Batman is a hunter, but he's not a killer. but he does hunt down the criminals, the villains. Radiant 01, as we said, still evolving to become the myth and creature that criminals really fear. Yeah, and they already fear him. But the thing he realizes at the end of the movie, yeah, the criminals need to fear him, but he needs to give the good, innocent people of Gotham hope, or there's no point. It's not just about fear. You want the right people to be afraid of you so they don't hurt other people, but you don't want good people to be afraid of you. And I think that's what Bruce and Batman learn in the evolution of this character by the end of this film. And that's what Matt was attempting to do, and he did it very well. Hardeep Singh, yeah, totally agree. In MCU, they shoot hole in the room on green screen, still look like very mediocre. And I like Eternal cinematography and also Black Panther. And I didn't like Eternals, so woke. Radiant 01, correct. I thought the Eternals looked good. I thought it was an okay movie. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't think it was the best thing ever. It's just another chapter in the MCU. Yeah, they tried to be very, inclusive in it. And that's okay. But when you are inclusive, you've got to make sure you give those characters great character development. You've got to pay the time on those characters in terms of the characters and storytelling as you would with the kind of, I suppose, the straight white males or, white women. You can't just have them there for optics, or it's not genuine inclusion and representation, is it? But I think it's an okay film, but I think even the MCU stands will tell you they weren't overly impressed with it. But the Eternals done properly, that could be very interesting. It did look beautiful and the effects were gorgeous. Radiant 01, correct. But I think that is the direction that the MCU is going in. This is where we are now with all kind of movies and franchises. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So we either embrace it or we just stop watching stuff. I mean, there are I hate this word, but there are woke elements to the Batman, but I can, fine. Radino1, one more thing before I take off is that I really appreciate these videos that you make for us. And I'm grateful I started watching when you made this video. Explains in January that you watched the Batman. Yes, I'm very happy that I didn't expect people to come in and watch that video. I wasn't even going to make the video at first, but I thought I'm so excited. I wanted to talk about how I felt about the film. Obviously, I couldn't give spoilers. And I tried to be responsible and hold my responsibilities and not leak anything from the movie, which I didn't. But I'm glad, Radiant01, that you've come in and you like the videos, because that's what it's all about. And I appreciate every person who subscribes, likes, comes in and talks to me. I think it's amazing. So thank you very much, Radiant01. And I have been watching ever since. Thank you. Thank you. I've noticed I've got lots of new people since the Batman video, and some haters, some lovers, some people accusing me of being a liar. Of course, it comes with the territory. I'm strong, I can take it, but I don't really get involved with discourse. It's not in my interest. Very positive. I love life. I love people. People want to be nasty because their lives are not very nice. That's fine if it makes them feel better. It's water off a duck's back. Radiant01, I'll make sure to tune in to your other streams if I'm still awake. Take care, Radiant01. Thank you very much. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you very much. Hardeep Singh, have you ever seen Batgirl new update? I saw Firefly's new suit and Brendan Fraser looked amazing. Not traditional suit. I think do some CGI on that. Yes, Hardeep Singh. The stuff I'm seeing from Batgirl is so awesome. I'm really excited for this movie. It's a shame it's going to be on HBO Max because it won't be available to me straight away, which is fucking ridiculous. This film needs to be in movie theaters. They need to do something about this. And we still haven't got a date, by the way. We've been kind of told by Michael Uslan, who produces all this Batman stuff, that it's coming out it's coming out in, what did he say, December of this year, but we don't have a date. I think he said December, didn't he? I think the film is set at Christmas. So, for example, if it was delayed till next year and put in movie theatres, it couldn't be out till Christmas time. Although Shazam wasn't out at Christmas time, was it? And that was set at Christmas. But all this, to be honest, this year, and let's forget about the past now. There's some great films in the DCEU in its library in the past. But, you know, the films we're seeing things like, we're seeing all that concept art posters from Black Adam and Dr. Fate and, you know, The Flash. It's all very exciting. I've got no complaints personally. I didn't think, well, Warner Brother moved Blue Beetle to the theatre release. I think they're going to do something with Batgirl similar. Fingers crossed, Heartbeat. That would make me very happy. It shouldn't just be available to American audiences and a few others scattered around the world on HBO Max. It makes no sense. It's a huge movie. Keaton's in it, for fuck's sake. Announce you're putting it out in cinemas in 2023. Please. It's not a demand. I'm not saying this is what you must do, but it makes sense for you, Warner Brothers, as a business, and it makes sense for all of us around the world to be able to enjoy Batgirl at the same time and discuss it on platforms like this, like we are with the Batman. It's working out for you there. Let's do this, Warner Brothers. Take some advice for once. Well, this has been a really good video. I think we'll give it a few more minutes. I think I deserve a cup of tea and a cigarette. Yes, I smoke. Terrible habit. Sorry about that. This is my balcony. That's where I go and have my cigarette, just in case you're interested, which I'm sure you're not. Hardeep Singh, do you think Shazam 2 is going to release early? Well, it's out next year, isn't it? When did they say it was coming out next year? I forgot what date next year they said. It's coming out next year, apparently. I cannot think for the life of me how Shazam could release, for example, this year. That would be nuts. I don't think they've got enough of a slate for 2023 to move it away. So they may move it forward in 2023, but Blue Beetle and Shazam Fury of the Gods are definitely coming in 2023. And if they stick Batgirl in 2023 in movie theatres, we got 3 proper releases next year, which is good because I don't know what else they're planning for next year. Hardeep Singh, June 2023. Interesting. Well, I think they'll keep it in June, yeah. But I don't know what else is coming out next year. At this moment in time, it's probably going to be Wonder Twins on HBO Max and Blue Beetle and what else is it? Blue Beetle and Shazam Fury of the Gods in movie theatres. That's why it's looking. Let's see what else. I can't see how, and because there's nothing really being made for 2023. I don't get it. It's weird, isn't it? It's like they're waiting for Discovery to come in to tell them what they can and can't do. I think that's why there's not much coming out next year. It's interesting. We've heard nothing recently about Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman. So be aware, if we don't hear anything from that soon, in the next few months, that isn't happening. We haven't heard anything recently about Michael B. Jordan's Val Zod Superman, which is actually, I've read it when I found out they were doing it, a very interesting Superman, version of Superman with a very interesting backstory. I was quite excited about that. Hardeep Singh, don't worry, I don't have a problem with smoking. Let's smoke, dude. Oh, yeah. Well, it isn't good for you, but I'm afraid women are not good for you. Are they? And we still do them. Be with them, I mean. So unpolitically correct. You're going to lose subscribers, Mick. Well, it doesn't matter because I ain't got many anyway. But it is amazing. Someone who started this as a bet, this channel as a bet, and I said, I'm not going to get high tech, and I think I can reach 1,000, and I did. And that's brilliant. That's amazing. I'm probably going to lose lots of subscribers now so they can prove that I'm a failure and leave me some under 1,000. That's the internet. It doesn't matter either way. Hopped it sick. Bye, man. See you later. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you tonight with the live. There may be more pre-recorded videos later on. We could be talking about what's next for the Batman. We could do a Superman one. I might not do any more until I see you tonight live. Until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. And yes, Hardeep, thank you very much. Take care, bro, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the support. It's great to do these lives. It's great to be talking with fellow nerds. We are the same, McLeod. Until tonight's live, I'll see you again soon. See you later. Goodbye.